Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's live SEO Q&A session with Mr. ChrisPalmer.org and my good self. Sponsored by 38 Digital Market. The link is below for Mr. Randy Rodet. That is Randy. Great service. A whole bunch of different stuff on there, not just press releases. Go check him out. The link is below and see what he can do for you guys. But Randy is here. Hello, Randy. Always good to see you. We've actually got some questions here as well. So we've got Star Duxies. Vasil is here as well. We'll just start at the top. But guys, do put your questions in the chat. We will work our way through and try and get to as many of them as we possibly can, as quickly as we can. So put them in the chat. Also give us a little thumbs up and subscribe. But we'll start off with Vasil's question. I used to rank for Google Discover with my blog post last year with 10,000 clicks each. Now I'm doing the same blog post, but not getting any more than 50 clicks. What's strange is the CTR is even better than last year, but I get no more impressions and clicks. So I'm going to make the assumption that your articles are no longer hitting Google Discover, which, regardless of the CTR and stuff, if you're not in Google Discover, then obviously you're going to have a severe impact. Give you a little scenario. A fella done his thing for me, and a lot of my stuff was getting in Google Discover. I think it worked well for a couple of months, and then I think it was late on last year, maybe around October, November, boom, fell off a cliff. Never had a fucking click since from Google Discover. So I can't remember, Chris, but you might be able to enlighten us. But something happened, and I'm not sure if it was just older websites or something that were allowed to get into it, and because there's just so much shit getting in Google Discover that they've done something.
I found it to be a rarity for a lot of our stuff. So yeah, I do notice a lot of the older and or authoritative sites tend to get in there.
Yeah,
but
this guy's issue, I couldn't tell you the exact terminology, but there was something that happened, and yeah, it's something to do with older websites seem to get it more. But enjoy it while it lasts, or while it lasted. But it's hard. I'm struggling. I can't get back in. Don't know how to. So don't know who I need to bribe or corrupt. So unless Chris has someone we can openly corrupt.
Somebody give you a dub? I know this logo. Who is this?
It is Mr. Chase.
I just was watching his videos last night.
Shinefee Chase. Someone actually asked me about Chase recently. How he was getting on and if he was still in SEO and all that stuff. But Shinefee Chase, great to see you. Let us know how you're getting on. Curious to know how life is going. I've seen the pictures from afar. I think it's all going very well, by all accounts. But yeah, very clever guy, and do appreciate that, Chase. And it's good to see you still popping your head in, as always. But Star Duxie, did you analyze what the competition? Do you analyze what the competition do to outrank you? Is that something you regularly do, Chris?
Always. Absolutely. I mean, that is my primary function in life. I think I spend 60% of my day doing that. Looking at other people's stuff to see, well, gee, what are they doing better than me? That's like, yes, sir. That's exactly what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it just opens up your mind, if anything. Obviously, I think, you know, analysing the competition in terms of what they're doing technically and you know, content-wise and link-wise and everything else is important. But I think just sniffing around the competition for ideas is just opens up your mind. And yeah, I can't see for any reason why you wouldn't benefit from doing it. So yeah, I become a bit of a stalker on certain things that I take the you know, a liking to. So why not? Honey is here. Good to see you, Honey. I am good. Chris is good. We hope you are too.
Doing pretty good.
Sam Harris, should I use schema markup as a local business?
I do believe that marking up the page with what is relevant is going to be a valuable asset for you. I think that I see a lot of different talk out there in the groups and stuff. You know, some people get completely insane with it, but I would hone in and focus on marking up and doing a lot of work as a local business on the homepage. You know, if I was going to spend money and time, I'd focus on that homepage first. But yes, it's worth your time, worth your investment, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Hopefully that helps you, Sam. Salim, very well we are. Hope you're good as well, Salim. Darren Muzzy, my dudes.
Darren.
Great to see you, Darren. Chase is just keeping his head low, chopping wood and carrying water. Hope you two are doing well as well. We are still fighting the good fight, Chase. But yeah, sometimes keeping your head low and
looks like he's been lifting.
Yeah.
Eating and lifting. I was watching his vids the other day. He had a really good pitch. You know, I like to see what's Chase up to. I got some good ideas off of Chase. You know, in the past. When I saw, man, like that's what really blew my mind. When I saw like he had like, this was years ago now, but he had like, he was doing like a live thing to get people into the group. And it was just all these heads. And I was like, wow, like people actually want to talk about SEO. I was like, dude, I'm doing that. Dude, I got that idea from Chase. I was like, dude, mastermind, dude, this is awesome. Like I could have friends. I'm like, what? This is so cool. Yeah, man. Chase. Yep. And he's the one that taught me how to do the OBS. I was watching his stuff long time ago. He was in a basement with a green background. And he went through like, here's how you set up OBS. I was like, okay. That's what I'm going to do.
What happened? Is your camera still, your setup still quite poor, Chris? Nah, I'm only kidding.
Oh, that's fun. Hey, I ordered some new stuff. But yes, I agree. It could be better.
Always could be better.
I know.
But Salim has 2 years of experience in SEO, but does not have expertise in local SEO yet. But I have a good understanding of local SEO too. Now I want to provide services to my clients, but I'm facing an issue at, and let me scroll down. I don't know how to find clients for SEO. Can you suggest me how I start an SEO agency from scratch and how to pitch clients? How to pitch clients can be a long-winded conversation, and we've all got different styles and everything else. You know, trying to win clients is something people come all the time and say, how do I get new clients? It's not that easy. There is a million guys like yourself, Celine, all vying for that one piece of work. So what makes you different from the next guy? And that's the key part. You have to demonstrate knowledge and expertise, and you need to shout about it all over the internet, whether that be on YouTube, whether that be on LinkedIn, showing case studies and stuff. Sitting, you know, in a YouTube chat going, how do I get clients, is not going to get you clients. You have to be active, and sometimes it takes you out your comfort zone. doing things that, maybe being in camera might not be for you, but, there's lots of ways to get in front of clients, but you have to offer value up front, demonstrate knowledge and expertise, showcase studies, and slap that stuff all around the social media, YouTube, and whatever else you can, would be my advice to someone, because they're not just going to drop in your lap. Also, ranking locally yourself, if you can do local SEO, is also a good start as well. But Chris, any other advice?
That's all good advice. I think I go and work your job. Get your job together. I mean, we've talked about numerous things, but something that I wish I would have did this earlier. Get your job, get a grand together. And then pick a hyper-specific niche or category or service and run ads towards that. You will get a client. Now, you might not get your worth at first. That's a problem too. When I talk to people, oh, I should be getting this. Well, yeah, but you're not. I think if you could invest $1,000 in yourself and target something hyper specific that you can do, I guarantee you'll get a client. And then there's your foot in the door. Now you have a case study. Now you have a service. Now you have faith in yourself that you can perform. And then that'll start to snowball. Then invest more in yourself. I see a lot of guys blowing up on LinkedIn, but if I could rewind, I would take an initial investment and run advertising for specific, very hyper specific things, whatever your talent is. I don't know what it is, but it is effective. You might not get what you think you're going to get, but it does work. There's no question. That's my best advice, sir.
Hopefully that helps you, Salim. Thank you for that suggestion. Sorry, we'll come back to that, Sir Klopp. Honey is asking, what's the average price of local SEO services should you charge in the USA? I'm going to say, Honey, it's not what you should charge against the USA, or should charge for people in the USA. What works for you and the service that you provide and gives you profit. Forget about what Chris Palmer charges for that, or anyone else for that matter. What you charge or what you see as good money is what I would charge. Don't try and charge the same as an American. And the reason I say that, Honey, is more and more businesses want to outsource and leverage cheaper vendors, cheaper gigs, whatever you want to call it. People are using you because you are cheaper, based where you're based. So trying to charge someone the same price as a local in the US isn't going to win you that much business, I don't think. I would try to begin in with a reasonable price for what you do. Obviously, you've got costs for all of the stuff that you do, but I wouldn't try and match another American based on what their price is. You've got costs, you've got whatever time, hourly rate or whatever. Chris said to me before coming on, everything has a cost, whether it be time, whatever you're using. You might even be outsourcing the work, I don't know. But your time and the cost of doing said work all comes with a cost, and don't be scared to charge it, regardless of what the USA guys charge.
Yep. And then how much interaction is there going to be? I would start even thinking about, okay, on average, how many emails will I need to send to this client? How many text messages? I add it all up. Okay, this is going to be factored in. Time plus service equals cost.
I've got one this, and it's very difficult. This is where I used to struggle. The whole texting, emails, and hand-holding.
Woo!
How the fuck can you price that to a guy you don't know? Someone comes to you. Now, this is where I really used to struggle, and I used to get really frustrated. You don't know if that guy's going to need an email every other day because he's a pain in the tits. What do you say? This is more to help other people. Do you say, dude, the service is X, you get a report once a month, and if you want all this other hand-holding and fucking neurotic bullshit, you're getting fucking charged per hour. How do you work that with clients?
Well, now it's see, you'll generally know if it's going to be a handhold client because they'll ask up front, hey, well, how do I get in touch with you? Like, that's the keyword right there. How do I get in touch with you? Right? Not that we don't want communication and be transparent. We do. But generally, it's going to be factored in. We're going to meet bi-weekly if it's going to be a monthly client, and we have a 15 to 30-minute phone call that usually run over. Where we'll meet bi-weekly. And then if there's any other communications, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., Monday through Friday, you can message support. I tried to alleviate the emails because for me personally, I just dislike that immensely. So I hired a support person and I got an 800 number, 1-800-295-8220. So we have an 800 number, which is going to be an OVR, which will take them to sales or support. That way I get a transcribed support message. So that way, instead of checking emails, I just go down the list. Is it support or sales? And then everyone else goes to help desk. And then I just charge I've been charging a flat fee lately. Like I just factor that in, that there's going to be a level of communication that needs to be charged. I just charge them for an hour.
Yeah.
It's factored in. That's
but
it.
What if that guy talks to you for 10 hours a month? Then he's getting charged for 10 hours.
That would not happen. I mean, he might try, but that wouldn't be a fruitful relationship for either of us. Yeah. Right? You either trust me and I'm on your team, or I'm not. Yeah. You know, that's it. There's no reason. I don't need to hold your hand. I'm here to help you win. We can meet bi-weekly, or you can message support 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday.
But Andres, Carol, run if they want to add you to their Slack. You ever been added to someone's Slack before, Chris?
I do not add. No, sir. I have been asked. I try to refrain immensely from integrating with other people's systems or processes. If you want to get down, you have to get down with my system.
I like it. Sir Klopp is saying, Chris, I know you don't promote your stuff. Are you fucking kidding me? Of course he promotes his stuff.
I do. I do. I'm not. Yes.
But he's interested. Yeah. Of course, you wouldn't be here. This is all some form of selling.
Yes.
But I was interested in the Google News network syndication, 1,500 ferrying domains, backlink placement blast. Can you give me some more details about this? So what the fuck is that, Chris?
Google News sites. There's 1,500 of them. 1,500, probably more. That service is going away. So that's a good piece of information, probably in the next 30 days. However, it's 1,500 individual websites. So that would be 1,500 referring domains. And we are going to create a piece of content and push it out to 1,500 sites. Now, what you put inside of that content is wildly up to you. What we like to do is just put a document with 40,000 characters or less that's just links. So that way we could build 1,500 links to all the links. What we'd like to do, and what I recommend, is grab a existing backlink profile, stuff that's already pointing in, like your tier 2s, right? Tier 1s, I should say. Anything that's DR10 or below, grab that backlink list, not the referring domain, the backlink list, export it from Ahrefs or SEMrush, preferably. Take that list and put it in a Word document, and then title it the name of your business, and then put an H1 on a Google Doc and give it to us with the list of the links. And then we build 1,500 links to all those links. All your DR0s to 10s go up to 50s. It's a beautiful thing. And I hate to say that it's going away in the next 30 days, but we had a good run. We had a good run.
What's it? I don't want to obviously be nosy and tell me to just shut up and move on. But why is it going away?
Well, I was working with Holly, and I believe that Holly is getting away from it.
Right.
So if she's getting away from it, then I can't offer it. I don't have a Google News syndication. I was working with Holly.
That was just curious, if something algorithmically had changed or some shit like that or whatever. But nah,
we never discussed that. To me, it's a black and white thing. Are we doing it or not? No? Oh, darn.
Yeah.
Let me know what you have next. She has some new stuff, though, which I'm interested in. I'll test it, see if I love it. When I do, we'll offer it.
Holly's always doing some weird and wonderful stuff.
Yeah, if she gets that Reddit thing cooking, we'll be on. It's on.
Yeah. Hope she does. Well, I'm sure
yeah.
she will. But guys, you have slowed up. We're 20 minutes in. Keep the questions rolling, whatever you want to ask, whether it's more details about a service or whether you want us to tell you how to price your stuff or how to tell a client to fuck off, whatever it may be, or anything else in between, then ask away in the chat, guys, because we do have 40 minutes left and we want to smash through them as fast as we possibly can. So, yes. But I'm just checking I haven't missed
We had some good weeks, though. So is this a slow one? Like those past two were they were hitting.
Oh, yeah. We're normally quite fast. The thing is, sometimes people just need to be prompted,
Motivated.
and then they all fucking pile in. There'll be like 15. So yes, pile them in the chat, and we'll go through them one by one. Free information and advice, which you would typically normally have to pay for. So ask away. But I'm just curious, Andres, have you or do you get involved in people's Slacks with your clients? I'm just curious if, and I can just imagine Andres sitting there fighting for his life every day on Slack, talking shit with the customers. Not fun. What were you going to say there?
I was just saying, no, that does not sound fun. No.
And he has in the past. I was going to tell you a story, but it's probably not the right time to tell a story about someone else who basically gets bent over by a client, but the person is very close to having that conversation with a client. So I'm going to say no more just now, but maybe in a few weeks I will tell you that one. But I'd only do it for 5K plus per month projects now. Quite right, Andreas. Quite right. Rich is here. Good to see you, Rich. What are you guys learning when it comes to LLMs and such? Any cool use cases?
So large language models. I mean, there's so much content. I think anything that would be cool has been exhausted. At this point, I have been pondering the idea of teaching people how to tune a larger model. I wouldn't go training the whole thing, but how to fine tune based on top performers in order to get a lot better content. I mean, you still need some prompting at that point, but at least we'd have a fine-tuned, at least a tuned model that would produce a much better starting point, So I've been contemplating that as almost like a little training of sorts, but that's the only thing cool that I really, the big use. Other pieces that I really like is for analysis. Finding information, but that's pretty much it. I think analysis, the creation of content is pretty fun. Schema. That's what I use it for. How about you, Craig?
Similar to you, I'm not a heavy user or anything like that. Just the usual bullshit. But yeah, that's it. I've no real crazy cases where I have shown before. Certainly when it comes to scaling content and stuff like that out, we've done a whole bunch of stuff and then it gets slammed after 6 months. So I've got a case study where I think I've shown it on my YouTube channel previously, and I think I've shown it in another stream, as to things like that, but nothing where I can sit there and go, look at this is spectacular, or we're doing something different than everyone else is doing. Absolutely not. So unfortunately, I can't help you there, Rich, unless that was good enough from me and Chris. I'm not so sure, but yeah, I'm going to make the assumption it wasn't
what you're looking for. Yeah. But there's so much. I mean, I hate those rabbit holes. That's a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And then you get, dude, no. I use it for what I use it for, and that's it.
Yeah. Rizwan, how can I use local SEO to increase the number of leads for my home remodeling services? Expand the area.
I mean, it goes back to first principle, right? So, well, what are we trying to do? We're trying to get leads. Okay, leads doing what? Home services. Well, what services specifically? Okay, there's our top level. And then where do we want to target? Okay, cities, great. Towns, okay. Cities and towns, excellent. And then is there specific questions that need to be answered for each level? Top level is home services. We have who, what, when, why, where, and how questions that need to be answered. Who needs it? When should I buy it? How do I buy it? Right? These types of questions. And then there's city-specific informational service questions that need to be answered as well, that are service plus town or service plus city. So there's a magnitude of questions and information that could be answered. So if we have all of our primary pages, all of our primary plus city pages, and then we have all of our informational for both sets, okay, SEO is down, right? So then I'd start looking for more ways to drive leads. Well, how many GMBs can we get, or GBPs? Is there multiple locations? Can I get multiple locations? Can I get multiple boxes? That's another game. Okay, then there's another spot on the map that we can start generating leads, meaning the map as in the SERP. Are we running ads? All right. Are we doing it on Google? Are we doing it on Maps? Well, then there's other platforms. I think there's a magnitude of ways to start running ads or to get leads. Then the other piece too is, there's a lot of lead brokers out there that will have geo-specific, I don't know if this is legal, but you can get lead lists of text numbers based on location. Have you dropped mailers? Have you done text campaigns? So there you go. There's some ideas for you.
Hopefully that helps you. Andreas, wait a second. I think I might have skipped someone. I have skipped a few. Sorry. Going back, we'll come to you in a second, Andreas. Jose is asking, are we planning on having an event this year?
I'd like to. I talked to Craig about this last week. I was thinking, I spoke to Holly probably 2 weeks ago. I'm contemplating it, but on maybe just a smaller scale, right? So it could happen. It could happen.
You will be kept posted, Jose. We just don't want to lose money on the next one.
Right. Exactly.
That's the big concern. Just obviously trying to offer it affordable to people, whilst having a nice venue and some of the nice touches with food and whatnot is key for these events. But I think we shot for the stars last year, and that was a great event.
We had fun.
Yeah,
but I want to be able to fly in and fly out complimentary. I want to be able to eat good and drink good complimentary. And I want everyone to have a great time. Now, how can we achieve that? Well, if we shrink the venue, that could be accomplished quite easily.
Yeah.
And still have really good food. That's key, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Who has good thought-provoking ideas and What do they have to eat? Yeah, man.
So never say never, Jose, but more likely than not, shall we say, at the moment. Eric, what?
Well, here, you want to know really what I was thinking? I was thinking about maybe doing a pre, and depending on the pre sale, that would determine, okay, let's execute, you know, like,
Yeah.
hey, who wants early bird? Like, what's the interest? If the interest could be 50 to 75 people, then heck yeah, then that would make sense for everybody, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway.
On to Eric. If your client has a little budget, other than being able to pay you for your services, can you rank them without the cost of guest posts, niche edits, etc.? So client's got a low budget. Can you still rank without buying links?
1,000%. You're still going to need a level of links. The only thing with low budget, it's just going to take you longer. But can you rank them? Definitely. Can you get away with not building anything? Maybe. But that's not optimal. We're looking for the position the client in the best way for success. So it's not optimal, my friend, but yes, it could be done.
Yeah. Hopefully that helps you, Eric, but anything's possible.
And depends on niche, like what's the target market, what's the category, like there's a lot of ifs there.
What I would say, Eric, is not to be negative, but I have failed with a number of clients just because they wouldn't pay the right money. I think sometimes you have to say no to certain types of clients because although you do on page, sometimes you could be, you know, in a competitive big city and stuff like that. And, you know, you might get your money for a couple of months, but it's going to end up in failure. You know, the reality is, and I think, you know, you probably will be experienced enough to notice whether you need links or not. You know, I think if you're going to try and rank in a competitive market and you don't have the budget for links, ultimately, you may find it difficult and the client will drop off after a period of time. So, and that's never fun. So sometimes you have to say no to certain types of clients is all I would say, especially those ones with no budget.
Dude, I just was talking to an agency and they're like, you know, 660 is their high point. And I'm like, dude, like what? I'm inexpensive and affordable. But even that's cheap to me. You know, like what could I build for that? Like, okay, 660 gets you the website. Like we didn't even start anything else. Like, what about the content, the interlinking? Like, there's so much. That's hard, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate that it has to be that way, though. You know what I mean, Craig? Like, you always get people through the door and you want to help them, but it's like, 300 just doesn't do it. I'm sorry. You know, like I hate having those talks.
Yeah. That happens. I'd love a Ferrari, but if I've only got $500, then no one's ever taken pity on me and just said, have it anyway, Craig.
That's one way to look at it. Start smiling and dialing.
Andreas, making a little money by ranking for a company and discount code term these days, is there still a way to dominate more real estate on page one except your own website and Parasite? How about a permanent, and I'm just going to scroll down, live stream from YouTube? Is that still a thing?
I mean, they get demoted after a period of time. I mean, you could put the event there. You have to go in there and reset it. And then depending on the term, it's probably going to dump. You know, I don't think the YouTube angle is effective. Not as effective as it once was. I'm sure there's still some function to it. And then as far as the coupons, I love coupon code sites. I think having more assets and then having assets that are targeting variation is probably a venture worth diving into. Like you're targeting a specific, I don't know what you're doing, like hosting coupons. Well, and then more specifically, well, which hosting company? And then start doing variations. Like just targeting this hosting company and then do the variation of it. Like just coupons for this. And then you could have $5 off sites and then $10 off sites. Like be more specific to take up more real estate because you're still targeting the same key phrases. But up to you, my friend.
Good luck, Andreas.
Good luck.
Eric is asking, do you see platforms like TikTok as a good generator of leads from advertising?
I did not enjoy TikTok. It was not for me. Yes, tons of visibility. Yes, it is low cost. For the assistance of getting, like for me, it's, hey, did they sign up? Did they fill out the form? Did they book a consultation? Did they hit the checkout page in the store, right? Or did they visit the mastermind? Like it wasn't effective for us. I didn't like TikTok. LinkedIn, Reddit, YouTube, Google. Yes. Congratulations. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That took me a while though to realize, like, I talked to a lot of guys too. They're like, man, I spent $200, I didn't get anything. It's like what I have found, it maybe it just could be me or maybe the niche, but it seems like it's like you feed in $1,000 and then it starts to work magically. It's a weird thing. I don't know why.
But I think any source of traffic, Eric, is something we should be utilizing. I've had a few people reach out to me through TikTok, looking for
Beautiful
consultancy and whatnot. So I mean, my TikTok's more for a joke. I have a laugh on it more than anything. But I think if you're putting out the right type of content, then 100%. I see many businesses doing really well from it. So get involved. But it's niche dependent as well. Rich is working on automating a content brief creation using top-ranked articles, entity extraction, and some attempt at information gain to ensure the brief is topically complete and authoritative. See, that's way too clever for me, Rich. Are you selling that shit as a thing, making it a tool?
Sounds cool.
Yeah. Maeve, hey. Hope you're well. Maeve, that rhymes with Dave. Part of my agency work, Rich says, which means it's closed, but you never know in the future. Maybe he'll come out with something. Honey, should I focus on a single page in guest post campaign or distribute guest post campaign to multiple pages of the website? Which one will give the early results? So should I focus on a single page and a guest post campaign? So a link to a single page from a guest post, or should you have multiple links to multiple pages of the website? What do you think, Chris? Obviously, if you can link to your homepage and an inner page on a one guest post,
yeah,
why not?
I think an ideal situation is one, but in order to get a little bit extra value, generally, it's going to be the top level service page and then an informational piece that's supporting the main topic. So like if I'm trying to rank for personal injury lawyer Houston, and then what does a personal injury lawyer in Houston cost? Those would be the two articles I'd point that to, but that's what we like. But ideally or optimally, it's one link going out. And then we want to, depending on the cost of the PR or the guest post, that'll be wildly dependent upon the anchor text that we utilize. It's a lower tier, lower cost, naked and or branded. If we're paying a premium or it's a homepage or something of high quality, I'm going exact. Just depends. So to answer that question, sometimes I don't know if I go overboard there. Optimally, you want it's 1-to-1, but to squeeze a little bit extra juice, make sure it's hyper relevant. We had trouble with that on some lead generation sites. Like you want to be careful what you're linking to. It doesn't seem, 1 or 2, no issue. When you start building thousands though, you can run into issues. Like if I'm linking to the Houston here and I'm linking to Iowa here and you do that 1,000 times, trouble, big trouble. Yep. I learned that lesson. There you go. That was a valuable lesson, by the way. That was painful.
Always be learning. Sam is asking, what is parasite?
Parasite. So this is, well, even think of it from a scientific, right? So you have a host, and then you have like a little bug, right? That just kind of sucks off of the host, right? But in web terms, we have an authoritative asset that's ranking for a specific keyword, and then we're able to either extract some type of value. Generally, it's going to be traffic from that parasite, right? Like, what's that really, what is it called? Something India, Outlook India. Perfect example. Everyone, their brothers on there. So there you go. That's get a post on there. That's a parasite. Yeah, man.
Hopefully that explains it, Sam.
Poor guy that owns Outlook. He had a good run. That thing got demolished. Poor guy.
Yeah, but I'd love to know how much he pulled in.
$140 times. Just in that 1 year gap, there was probably 3,600 posts. Made some cake. Yeah. He had a good run. One site.
Maeve has just about recovered from the urinal disclosure. How is the urinal getting on, Chris? Any sinks been installed or?
Yes, I did get a sink installed.
You lying bastard. A bottle of water he bought.
No, I did get I did update. I do have more Clorox wipes. That's helpful. So
We'll take your word for it.
No,
not ask for a receipt, but I don't want to fucking see. But Rich has said, here is an example of a series of prompts I used to build a skyscraper article. Please do send them in, Rich. Would love to see them. Darren Muzzy knows some blonde parasites at the restaurant. I'm sure you do, Darren. I'm sure you do.
Those can be effective if utilized properly.
And we'll move on, but there isn't a question to move on to. So, guys, keep the questions coming. Please do give us a like and subscribe on the channel as well. And ask whatever you want to ask. We've got about 15 minutes left or thereabouts. So give us a quick fire bunch of questions. We can just bang through. And also like and subscribe to the channel. We always need engagement, guys. So do not be shy. But yeah, it's quite slow today, Chris. I don't know what the hell's going on. We've normally got all sorts of questions. We actually struggle to get to all the questions. You're like, boom, boom, boom. Skipping a few that are crap and so on and so forth. But we've answered everything so far today.
Yep.
Well, tried to. That's the best we can do. Just double checking I've not skipped anyone. No, we haven't. We have not. New comments. Ursol. Is Parasite SEO about to get nuked in an update? What do you think, Chris?
I think specific assets can get nuked or filtered. But, I mean, there's always going to be authoritative domains that will be willing to exchange their hard work for a fee. So, I'm sure some, yes, are going to get whacked. No question. But I don't think it's been going on since Since I can remember, at least since 2011. I know that for a fact. There's always been sites or a site or multiple sites that could be utilized in order to extract some type of value from.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
probably
your good
before then.
friend, the one you mentioned earlier, Chris, Outlook India, that's been severely whacked,
I
if you
bet.
want to call it that. So that's already been given a good old slap. But I think whether the rest of them or something happens, who knows? Whether it's individual assets or maybe that type of website getting their power leveraged, who knows? But Richard Johnson, are the blonde parasites a service you offer at Darren Muzzy? Give Chris the pre-warm up for the mastermind tomorrow. Chris Boland, can you give a simple explanation of tiered link building? Why the tiers and not just saying links to the money page? So there's a number of reasons, Chris, why you wouldn't just send the links to the money page. So an example of a tier, your website is here. I buy 3 guest posts. That's tier 1. Now, underneath that, I could, or alongside that, I could buy a whole bunch of other guest posts, which point directly to the money website. However, is that the most cost-effective way of doing things? You know, we're all working with budgets and whatnot. So why not use something cheaper like a niche edit, something that costs you, you know, a lot less than a guest post to power up the 3 guest posts that you've got, and or potentially using some form of automated link building and stuff like that as well would explain different tiers on your website. But I think for me, a lot of it's down to cost. Now, would you really send a niche edit direct to a client's money website? You probably don't want to be doing that. You want to potentially put any risk at the guest post rather than the client's money website as well. So that's a couple of reasons. But Chris, have you got any other explanations?
For us, tiered linking, there's 2 parts to tiered linking, or 2 value adds to it. I mean, the general process of it, to answer the first part of the question, is you have the website, you build links from other sites to that site. That's your tier 1. When I build links to the links that I've already built, that's my tier 2, pointing to my tier 1, which points to the website. Okay. For the second part of it, why? Why would we do this? Where's the value? For us, there's 2 separate values. One of them is a lot of times we're looking to enhance what was previously done by unskilled professionals, right? So they'll build a lot of low equity stuff that isn't hyper relevant to the category of links that we need to be building, or the power just isn't there. So we're able to pass relevance and we're able to pass power for a low cost. The second aspect of tiered linking is to build more relevance, right? If I already have assets or links that are pointing to a website, like I can't always afford DR80s, right? But if we're building 30s, which is an okay link, that makes a good tier 1, but we don't want to keep spending $100 or $200 a pop. I'm able to build links to make that even stronger and get more relevance, right? Because now I have more depth. So relevance, price, equity, authority, those are some of the reasons. Hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully that helps you.
Perfect. Maeve is doing her first local website. What would be your best tip?
Well, I think there's a series of tips, but the number one is who's winning. What's Google rewarding? And then check the timeline. Have they been winning for a long period of time? Oh, that's a question I have for you, Craig. May have just popped in my head. Other than checking past indexed queries for Google on the Wayback Machine or Web Archive, How else can we see what was previously there? Is there any tools that do that?
Not that I'm aware of. Like the Wayback Machine, or you can look for a cached version, but it's not going to. If you're looking for stuff that's historic, then no. The Wayback Machine's probably the only real place where you can get stuff, and even at that, that's not always the case. So I just think,
dang it, I didn't SEMrush. Maybe it was Ahrefs or Moz. It wasn't Majestic. It might have been. It's either Moz, SEMrush, or Ahrefs. Didn't they used to show, like, in the last year, like it would show different positioning? Do you remember seeing that?
yeah, they can show you historical positioning, but it doesn't go that far back. I think 5 years back you can go.
Oh, okay.
With SEMrush. I think it's 5 years. Yeah, I think it is.
Oh, and it shows historical positioning.
Yeah. So you can look at that. If it's URLs and stuff you're looking for, you can look at historical positioning and go through some kind of backlink checkers to see, if they've got any kind of links going to internal pages on the website and stuff, if it's the URL structure you're trying to create. But other than that, I think you're kind of screwed.
Yeah. So oftentimes, I mean, we just noticed whether it's cache or Wayback, you generally get the best way of looking in the past on Web Archive, right?
Yeah.
For 6 months. And what we're looking to do is, well, for Maeve, you said we want to look at the winners, but more notably, if you go 3 months or 6 months back, there's key players that have been in the main SERP forever. The question is in those 8 results, right? 3 of them are probably there forever, but who was 4, 5, and 6? And when you look 3 months back, the main players are there and they're still here today. But who are the players that ran up the ladder really, really quick? And what I would do is I would take a look at those sites. Like, what was their word count? How many headers? How many links? What type of links? I would match and mirror what they're doing. Like, who in the last 3 months was able to go from 0 to boom, I'm on page 1 in a very short period of time? That's the guy. But up to you. I just always look at what's the comp doing. But I don't want to see the guys that have been there for the last 10 years.
Eric has a question. For a travel business client looking to boost new content pages, would niche edits be a good way to achieve this over guest posting links? Niche edit provider you recommend? Chris does
I have you covered. However, those types of assets are generally utilized to point at other things and or supporting content, right? I would be apprehensive to start building that to primary money pages because of, I don't know. Niche edits are to supporting content or to tier out. All right. I would be very apprehensive to start building that to money pages. Regardless of, we have access to stuff that has 50,000 monthly visitors. Internal pages even get 1,000 visitors. DRs are through the roof. I would be very mindful of what you're pointing to primary money pages.
Yeah, I think, travel business and it's a client. Do you really want to be doing anything that may harm them going forward? So, yeah, just be careful. Why is niche edits risky? Isn't outreach type links pretty much 100% niche edit, giving it's adding links to a page that already exists? I mean, what you're saying, Ursul, someone who reaches out and gets a niche edit that way, is adding links to a page that already exists, but that's not what I would call a niche edit. That's just a placement of a link. That's not what I would call a niche edit. Niche edits are risky. Riskier because of what they are. Yes, is placing links on a page that already exists.
But how do they get them in there?
Yeah, How did we get there is the sketchy part, and typically they can come down a lot as well. But let's say a site owner found it and then reached out to your client going, hey, motherfucker, why is your link all over my fucking homepage? And then your client's onto you going, hey, motherfucker, what are you doing? Just ignore it. Just don't put niche edits to your clients' pages because it can cause a multitude of problems from a number of
only internal pages. Yeah.
and
I don't sell homepage niche edits, even though we have access. We steer clear of that. We go internal. That's what we like.
Chris, how do you tune a guest post for relevancy? Quick walkthrough of your process, as it sounds interesting. Do you care to share?
Sure, I think it's let's sure. This is going to be a relatively easy event here. Wait, what? Present screen. Wait, what do we have up here? Okay. All right. So if we're getting a guest post, that means we know who we're getting them from. And let's just say, for instance, if we want to be hyper relevant to something, okay, let's say it is here. Let's do. Let's say I want to rank for personal injury lawyer in Houston. Okay. Juice. I love this. All right. Anyway, when we come down into here, well, this is just an example. I don't know who these people are. This is just for educational purposes. So if I want to tune for relevance, it all starts with, well, what type of link is it? So in order to know what type of link we need to buy, we need to know who's winning. So we go into a top performer, whoever, or top performers, regardless if it's directory or a website that looks like us, we need to see, well, what link graph and what type of links are most relevant. And how you accomplish this is by looking at the website. And, you can use Majestic, you could use SEMrush. I believe Ahrefs offers it as well. And these aren't made up by the tools. Google classifies sites for ads based upon what the site is about. This is how the link graph was built. I mean, this is how Google works, right? So in order to have the most relevant post, you technically need to figure out, well, what type of category are these links in? If I want to rank in the Houston market for personal injury lawyer, I should ideally be building into the business and industrial category. Now, I want to just take the first one, right? Like, we have to look at other performance just like you do for on page. You can't just take the first, it's just this. Because I would venture to guess that law and government plays a part too. See how we have law and government? I know this niche very well. Business industrial, yes, of course, but we're also going to want to build these. So this guy is obviously buying links, but these are the category of links that we want to buy. So that's step one. These are the types of links we need. The next part is going to be on page and then the anchor text of the article. Okay. So if you know your vendor, right, you know where you're getting your links from, you should be able to see what they have. What's the inventory? What do they have? What category are they in? What type of links? Or if you have your own network, well, if I want to rank for this, I need to get the right category. Then after that, you're optimizing your article. Generally, we like to make up awards just like for press releases, or it'll be a best of list. So we could try to slide in the SERP, but that's up to you. The article, you know how to create an article. And then the anchor text, if it's going to be hyper specific or hyper relevant, then we want exact match. Exact match on a business or law and government based website. That's juice. And then two, like, well, which level is it on? Like ideally, I would want something that's in the law and government or business industrial category as far as the link graph is concerned, like what links are pointing to that site. And then I want to be on the homepage. But that's how I would tune a guest post for relevancy. It all starts with, well, what kind of links are on that site? This is how we do things. Fair enough.
Perfect, Chris. Appreciate that. Hopefully that helps you, Ursol. Do you ever make use of Google Alerts in your link building efforts? And if so, how?
Google Alerts. We were using, I was using alerts for something totally different, more for specific keywords that were being talked about. But no, I do not for link building efforts.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Why am I missing something?
I think people could use Google Alerts to do reactive PR and build links that way. So trending topics or whatever. So I think maybe more for a kind of PR perspective, it would make sense, but not for what we do on a day-to-day basis. So certainly not in my place anyway. But that doesn't mean it doesn't work. So you can utilize as you see fit. But on that note, guys, we are out of time. We did get there in the end. And appreciate all the questions, everyone. We will be back at the same time next week. But before you go, make sure you do check out chrispalmer.org. Do check out 38 Digital Market. The link is below for Randy's website and some great deliverables and PR blasts and everything else in there. And please do leave a like and subscribe on the channel as well, folks. But Chris, as always, it's been a pleasure.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
See you later, everyone.
Have a great day.
Cheers.